Okay, we are back in Friendsim 2 on to Chapter 11. The last chapter that's out right now, so I'll finally be caught up. It seems like they've been taking a long time since this chapter, so I don't know if they intended this chapter to be the last one or what's going on here, but yeah, let us finally get into this. I want to see if I can get through this entire chapter in one sitting, as opposed to the other chapters so far. So, let's go.
This route contains content warnings for depiction of death, depiction of state/institutional violence, discussion of dead bodies, medical trauma, sudden loud noises. Alert! After a while, Vicar switches on the ship's autopilot and walks back into the cabin where you've been sitting, strapped into one of the jump seats, for the past hour. Self-voicing disabled.
Doesn't matter where you run with that ship, we will find you. Okay. We alert. We're currently experiencing outages due to server issues and our alternating Okay.
Self-voicing enabled. This isn't, if you're being honest, a very comfortable ship. Zebed's was way better, like, at least upgraded to business class on a long flight better.
Well, my friend, that's probably on account of your friend's ship is likely a pleasure craft.
Yeah, sure, let's go with that for now.
As opposed to this here, which is a genuine Alternian combat vessel. Skips on the amenities a bit, but it gets the job done.
Speaking of ships.
Oh boy, I'll admit that seeing that thing launch was mighty impressive. Empress is gonna be furious though, her brand new ship swiped from right under the fleet's noses. I expect some heads will roll after that, my friend. Some heads will roll indeed. On account of how they've been chopped off for failing the Empire, you see?
Yeah, you got that one already? You shipped uncomfortably in your seat. Is this just about done?
Got another hour or so till we dock. Then you're free to unhook yourself and roam about the cabin and all that.
Is he really okay with this? Dropping you off on an Imperial ship, you mean? He's not putting himself in any danger or anything. Vicar laughs.
Goodness no! You're some kind of rustblood, right?
Sure, yeah, let's go with that.
Why, there's a whole level of spirulina just for us of the warmer hues. A lot of hard work to be had there. I'm sure they can always use more hands.
That's reassuring. You think? You're still trying to wrap your head around everything that's been happening, and the headache that keeps trying to punch its way out from behind your eyes really isn't helping. What would help is if he could answer a few questions. What does the spirulina actually do? So you know that the spirulina is somewhere that purple bloods live, clowns specifically, even. But that doesn't really get at the underlying question of what, exactly, the ship is for? Like, do they just kind of chill up there?
Why, that's a fantastic question. Really top shelf.
So, he doesn't know?
Not a clue, my friend. I just go where they tell me and do what they tell me.
Okay, but if he had to guess, what does he think the ship is?
Given the size, I'd wager it's a permanent residency. Beyond that, I couldn't tell you. About as far from a purple blood as it's physically possible to get and all that.
Vicar shrugs and smiles at you.
Best not to worry about it.
Okay, you still don't exactly love this situation. What kind of cargo is he carrying?
Not entirely sure, my friend. Cargo holds packed up with a bunch of storage containers, but I haven't a clue what they're storing.
Isn't that dangerous? Like, if he's hauling something potentially hazardous, doesn't he need to know so that he can take appropriate precautions? Like, you don't think troll OSHA is a thing or anything, but that seems like basic common sense.
Oh, no worries, friend. If it was something that could explode, they'd likely tell me. No sense getting all worked up over it.
Huh, not the most encouraging thing you've heard recently. You're being kept in the dark a lot more than you'd like. What's he planning to do now?
Now meaning when exactly? Right now? Why, I'm planning to drop this cargo off per my very explicit orders.
Well, maybe skipping forward a little, what's he planning to do after dropping the cargo off? Vakar grins and nods.
I hear you loud and clear, friend. Wondering what old Valkyrie's got in the works?
Yes.
Why, I'm planning on keeping on with the Empire, following my orders and flying every chance I can get.
Huh.
And longer terms than that,
He pauses and frowns.
probably eventually die horribly in service of her imperious condescension. But that's just how life goes sometimes.
That's actually not how life goes. There are so many people where that specific situation doesn't apply at all. In fact, you've got a couple choice things to say about that. You spend a few minutes explaining the whole locked timeline thing to Vakar, who seems to get increasingly annoyed as you explain yourself.
Nonsense! I won't hear another word of that. Ridiculous notions of other universes and mad gods with shiny round heads. I got everything I need right here, and my friend, I'm happy with it. I'm not some attack pilot that'll be burned out in a sweep. I got real long-term prospects, you hear? Another universe. Absolute nonsense, and I won't hear a word of it.
Okay, fine. Geez, you were just trying to help. It's not like there's much else you can do right now. Hell, you're not even sure what the spirulina looks like.
Why, that's an easy one. Take a look out the window, my friend.
Vakar slides back a blast shield from one of the heavy windows on the side of the ship and gestures for you to come over. Carefully, you unbuckle yourself and walk over to take a look. Out in the distance, across the vast nothing void of space, you can see a long, dark shape blotting out the far stars. The ship is massive, big enough to be clearly seen even this far out, and covered with a series of almost organic shapes from one end to the other.
Real beauty, isn't she? Pride and joy of the Empire.
You're not sure that beauty is the word that comes to mind to describe what you're looking at so much as pure, unadulterated terror, but there's no accounting for taste, right? Vakar shrugs.
Whatever you say, friend, we'll be docked there soon enough.
With that, Vakar strolls back to the ship's cockpit and you're once again alone. You settle into a seat next to the window and continue to stare as you inch closer and closer to the spirulina. Something about the thing just feels wrong. Like the moment in a sci-fi horror movie where the derelict ship first appears, followed by approximately 2 hours of relentless terror. And at this point, you'd prefer your life mostly free of terror, relentless or otherwise. So you settle into your seat, close your eyes, and hope desperately that things will go well.
Wake up, friend. Time for you to head on inside.
The first thing you notice as you step into the ship is how incredibly empty it feels. The Iastitia wasn't exactly packed full of other trolls, but there were people there at least. Granted, your only other data point was a newly commissioned warship specifically designed to carry a light crew, but still, this feels empty. Where is everyone?
Don't fret, my round-headed friend. This is merely the antechamber of the ship's lower levels.
Vakar looks nervous. You don't want to necessarily commit to that, but there's definitely a nervous energy there.
I will admit being outside the confines of my ship is stepping out of my comfort zone a bit.
Well, he's free to step back into his comfort zone whenever. You already said you were going to explore this ship, and explore this ship you will. Somewhere up there, the Purple Bloods must be living, and that means there's a decent chance you can find some more people you know.
Well, you have the best fun with that, my friend.
Without another word, Vakar practically dashes off back to his ship, and you're suddenly very alone in some extremely spooky corridors. Well, fuck. Time to get to exploring, you guess. You spend a decent amount of time wandering around, the whole area looping back in on itself over and over again. It's hard enough to get your bearings in here, let alone figure out where the exit to the residential sections of the ship is. 1. Self-voicing disabled.
The Codlock effect, I know all about. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Self-voicing enabled. The good news is that you're almost completely somewhat confident that this remarkably same feeling corridor will be the right one. You turn another corner and you're struck by a singular thought, you're thinking of a maze again. Mostly because the ship's corridors are laid out like one, and you have no idea where to go next. If you didn't know any better, you'd swear that it was getting darker. Not that the ship was already super well lit. You're pretty sure you already went this way. Why the heck is it getting so cold? As the scream echoes through the hollow metal corridors, you stumble forward, across the hallway and into a hatch you didn't even notice before. Tripping sideways, you find yourself falling. Oh, shit. This can't possibly be real. You were just in the spirulina. How can you suddenly be here again? Are you even here?
My dear reader, I think you underestimate how thin the walls between reality and fiction are here. Not to mention your own annoying tendency to sidestep both causality and any sense of proper decorum. Which is to say, you're here now, at least, in a sense.
What?
No, you are unbelievably obtuse. We are talking across both time and space, across the infinite void of the narrative itself. I would have thought that was clear enough.
This isn't the first time someone said stuff like this to you. Is he planning to talk past you now too? To address whatever it is that sits on the other side of the screen. Another entity that exists right beyond the scope of your comprehension.
What are you talking about? I can assure you, the only entity that exists outside of your comprehension is myself.
A strange feeling washes over you, a feeling like the world just got another crack in it.
I'm still prepared to be reasonable, you know. Your actions are like tossing stones into a pond. The ripples spread and intersect. Are you prepared to deal with those consequences?
You don't know, is he? Scratch laughs at you.
Oh, my dear reader, this is simply too much. I am perhaps the only true constant in this world. If you care at all about your own well-being, you should find a comfortable hole to crawl into, and never crawl back out again.
You awake to total darkness and an absolutely vile taste in your mouth. What happened? Last thing you remember, you were passing out on the floor. If movies have taught you anything, you should have woken up in some stranger's room with a rude word scrawled on your forehead, or with some concerned faces peering down on you. Not, whatever this is. Ugh, and the taste in your mouth is only getting worse. It's like someone put burning shrimp in your mouth and then doused the flames with sweat. Your spit isn't gonna cut it, you need to wipe your tongue off. You can't move. Something has your entire body trapped, pressing down on you and keeping you from moving your limbs. Fantastic. Awareness slowly creeps back in, and you can feel something lukewarm and vaguely squishy pressing in all around you.
Come on, you gotta help me with this!
Is it Fawcett?
I am here to ward off any of the vengeful dead.
Your head is killing you, and your body is sore all over.
I'll help.
Finally! Just pull these two off the top and...
Wait a minute, is that?
What the fuck is that?
What? Let me see.
Your excitement at seeing your old friend Diamond again is only exceeded by your excitement at seeing Fawzer, and you think that's Karan there. Their face is covered with a mask, but you recognize their voice. But your excitement is soon tempered when it finally hits you what's happening. Corpses. You're buried in corpses. Dead trolls fill the entirety of the bin you're lying in, covered in all manner of gruesome injuries. One right next to your face is covered in burns. Another is just a torso, guts spilling out the bottom. A third is shriveled up like a deflated balloon. You need to get out of here. You open your mouth to scream for help, but something heavy impacts the top of the corpse pile, driving all the air from your lungs. By the time you have your breath back, the cover has returned and you are once more plunged into darkness. This time, when unconsciousness comes, it's a blessing.
See, I told you it was weird.
Weird is an understatement. This is the most fucked up troll I've ever seen.
How bizarre. Its body is almost entirely nondescript, except for the markings here on its face.
Kind of weirded out by the whole Bane voice for Fazer, but yeah, sure, whatever. Damn. With DMing, I kind of wish I had like some hot dogs to be munching on right now.
Oh, I drew those.
Why?
It looks so nondescript. Does it matter? Nothing this mutated could possibly be.
Did it just twitch?
Not the voice I was headcanoning for DMing, but I'll go with it.
Ugh, your head.
Charon's
Where are you now?
Passing
You open your eyes to find yourself in a modestly decorated living space. Staring you down are your 3 friends from before. You recognize these trolls. You know these trolls. You befriended these trolls. Through some serendipitous miracle, you find yourself staring at a familiar face. A friendly face.
Fazer, if it stares at me like that for 3 more seconds, exorcise it and dump the body in the furnace.
Hey. You're not in it. You're a.
Hey, we had a meat warehouse adventure, and you're talking to me like that?
Wait, what are your pronouns?
What?
You've never really given the topic much thought, and you don't really have an assigned gender, considering as far as you're aware you're more of a narrative construct given flesh. Maybe you are in it? Your pondering must have taken more than 3 seconds, because a new figure steps in front of you, pushing the head of a staff into your chest.
Foul creature, prepare to be cast out.
Oh, Fazer doesn't need to introduce himself. You know his name already?
What?
Yeah. Well, Diamond said it earlier, but you knew him before that. Does he not remember you?
I have absolutely no memory of anything even remotely resembling you.
Okay, that's a bit disheartening to hear, but when you first met him Fazer was going through some weird shit that you never really fully understood, so maybe that fucked with his memory or something.
Hold on, am I still connected? Test. Ah, shoot. Ugh. Okay, I'm gonna try fixing my connection here quick. Give me a sec.